All right, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to thin out this bed, and then we're going to move to the other bed, and then we're going to trim the broccoli. Okay, so we have thinned out, as you can see there, this entire bed. We tried to space them out every 2 inches or so, 2 to 3 inches. So you can see here the spacing that we have done. So we ended up removing a lot. They're looking good, and we hope that the carrots now will start growing faster and getting bigger now that they have more space to grow underground and also get more light. Now we are moving on to that bed. Now a little quick recap on this bed. We have done a previous video in which we have shown you this one has been thinned out, and we pulled out a carrot, and then the difference between this one here that we have not thinned out, and then we also pulled the carrot, and this one were a lot smaller than this one. The reason is because these ones, they're all grown together. They need light for growth, and they need also room, so they are too close together. So we're going to do that so they continue to grow and grow as big as this one. So I'm going to get myself ready and start working. Well, okay, so now we're going to move on to the broccoli, and so we're going to do some trimming and some harvesting as well. Okay, so you take it from here.
Just want to say the bees are back. Yesterday was pretty windy, but now they're back. These ones are starting to open. Remember, I'm going to leave these for the bees, so I'm just going to get the smaller heads that are more compact down here off the plant. So you can see there's a bunch of little florets everywhere. So we'll eat these. We like these.
Or leave?
I leave this one. Plant something that for these, will be food. Right.
So basically you're trimming out all of the ones that have not flowered yet.
Yeah, so a lot of these are pretty loose already, and they're small anyway.
Let me zoom in.
They're pretty loose on the head, but we're gonna eat them. So ideally you want it to be tighter, but we'll eat these.
We were gone.
Yeah, we were gone, so yeah. I'm gonna leave these little ones from these little plants. I don't think they're big enough yet, but I'm gonna trim some of these broccolini ones. And you can see there's more flowers down here on the side, so happy to help out the bees a bit. Was it a day or two after we shot our post-vacation video? We had some pretty low temperatures. The tops of these tomatoes got damaged.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spend some time trimming these out, but I'll pick all these tomatoes up, and whatever's not damaged we'll eat. We'll see. So, but you can see the lower part of the tomato is still okay. So it's really just the tops. The temperatures, I think it was 34, 33, but obviously the tops got damaged, so just gonna peel off as many of these tomatoes as I can, and then we'll sort through them and go from there. Okay, so you can see right in here in the middle of this plant we've got some new flowers, even though it had just gotten pretty close to freezing the whole plant. This plant says, I'm gonna bust out some flowers here. So
yeah, that's good.
Anyway, but you can see what's damaged, and you can kind of trim it away if you want. Oops, my bad.
So we are going to trim out all of these tomatoes where the frost and the cold weather has done some damage to this plant, and we will take care of that. We have noticed that there have been some flowers, and so that tells us that these plants are still fighting the weather. So now that all the tomatoes are being trimmed, you can see here they look pretty pitiful and sad. Went back to square one, but they look healthy. We just took out all of the damaged limbs, and while we were looking at this, we decided also that we needed to harvest the spinach. Now we are going to move on to this, since we are in the trimming and in the harvesting process. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of all of this spinach. So I'll let you take it from here if there's some reason as to why, an explanation to it.
Oh, we're just gonna trim out you know, half of the size of the head. Take all the little leaves, we can put them in a salad. The bigger leaves, you know, you can chop up as well and put in salad, or you know, whatever recipe you use your spinach in, or we can freeze it. So I'm gonna come through and do a harvest and let them grow out another set of leaves, and then we'll harvest it a little bit later.
Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and have at it. So you are cutting the leaf from
the base of the plant. So
the base of the plant.
As long as you don't damage that growing center, you're good.
After you're done with that one, I'm gonna go and zoom in from the top.
You can see the growing centers there, so as long as you don't damage that, you're good.
Are there two plants?
There's actually 3 here.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I'm just going to trim out some leaves.
So that's why it looks very bulky.
Yeah.
Because there were 3 plants in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yep. There's one right here. There's one right here. And you know, actually there may be 2 here. So maybe 4 in this little set that we transplanted.
Okay.
So I just leave it like that. Okay.
Okay, so we are done harvesting some of the spinach. You can see the bowl right there is full, but we were able to get quite a good amount. We're still going to leave some of them there so that we can then come back later on and harvest some more as we eat all of that. Well, after we were harvesting the spinach 2 beds over, we happened to look this way, and then Sonia said, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the radishes. Since we are in the harvesting mode, might as well just start pulling them off. So that's what she's doing right now. Let me zoom in. If the camera, oh, there you go. That's a nice looking radish. So we're gonna start harvesting some of them. And then I'm gonna have to go get another bowl.
Okay, so we're back in the house. We laid everything out on some big cookie sheets. These are all the tomatoes. We took all the tomatoes off the plants so that they could focus on growing some new leaves. And so some of these are partially ripe, some of them are very, very green. So we'll see.
This one here looked like it got some.
Yeah. So there's some that were a little higher up on the plants that got a little bit of damage. You know, they're not all perfect. These are a little deformed. And you see that one had a little damage there too. But overall, most of the tomatoes were okay. Majority of the tomatoes were okay. This is a good handful of broccoli that we trimmed off, little baby heads. We'll roast those up. This is all the radishes. Now, some of them are pretty small because once you pull the radish, you're committed. So some of them were a little small, but some of them were quarter size. This was a quarter size, almost quarter size radish right there. So definitely ready to be harvested. I did leave several out in the ground because what you can do is you can just go along the top of the radish and kind of dig down at the base of the plant and see how big that bulb is before you pull it. So I did that on several, but as you can see on several, I just pulled them. So some of them are pretty small. We're gonna roast these up with our broccolis as well. This is that big bowl full of spinach that we harvested. We're gonna wash this out pretty good and sort it out. This is probably at least a 6-quart bowl, maybe 7-quart bowl here. So we could have gotten some onions if we needed them, and we checked on the peas. The peas are not yet, I don't see any pods on the peas yet, but the flowers are starting to open, so hopefully the bees will do their part. We've got celery out there that if we need some celery stalks, we can go harvest a few. And what else? The little arugulas, the leaves are only maybe 1.5 or 2 inch long. If we really needed to get some arugula, we could harvest some arugula if we needed to, but we don't need it right now. And what else do we have? We have lettuce. If we need more lettuce leaves, we could go harvest a few more at the base of the plants. And what else? The carrots are still pretty small, so I mean, if we really wanted some baby carrots, we could go get some, but I'm gonna let them get a little bit bigger. What else do we have out there?
Just the herbs.
Yeah, the herbs. As needed, go trim some herbs. I don't need any right now, but I've got rosemary, parsley, cilantro, oregano.
That we could use right now if we need.
We could use any of that right now if we need to, and the thyme. So maybe if we end up doing a beef stew or something, we can throw in any of these items, or roasted vegetables, toss in a little olive oil and whatever herbs we decide to chop up. Or a good way to use up herbs if you feel like they're not going to make it is to make an herb butter. Lots of options online. Just chop them up and mix it up with butter really well, and you've got yourself a herb butter. But we're gonna let these tomatoes continue to ripen, and we're gonna eat up this broccoli and these radishes, and we're gonna wash up this spinach. Probably make a salad with part of it, and the other part of it we're probably going to chop up and freeze. So we'll see. Anyway, that's what we did today.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on harvesting and the things that we have learned. We're actually pretty happy with what we have gathered so far. If you have any suggestions, things that you do on your garden, just feel free to leave us a comment, and so we will read them and start applying those things that work for you guys.